Очень хорошая лошадка. Не закрепощай ноги. У нее чешется нос. Подбери повод, Пинальчика. Чуть. Молодец. И врысь. Дайте повод, немножко длиннее сделайте повод.
Ей очень понравилось, как вы преодолели маршрут всадники. Спасибо вам за это.
Did you have fun?
Вам понравилось?
Yes.
Good.
Это хорошо.
I'm Antoinette Dix. I'm from the Netherlands. I've got a riding school together with my husband and some 450 clients per week. So we give a lot of lessons. We educate the young riders, but also the adults and also the horses. So that takes time, and it's a long education, but each year you learn something new. So that's me.
Thank you so much. So how did you start your career in equestrian sport?
I did an education in Deurne. That was the only education at that time to be a professional in the horse business. Now you have many. But and I met my husband, my current husband there, and we rode a lot of horses. We sold a lot of horses. And we were into education. So we wanted to learn teachers, but we also wanted to learn children and adults. But we also wanted to learn a horse, how to be a good school horse. So combined, it became a sport club, a riding club. And that's what I currently do. And besides that, I train coaches, I train instructors, but also train judges, and I examine a lot of things. So I'm very involved in the educational horse business in Holland.
Thank you. So you were as a judge at this competition.
Yes.
And you saw a lot of young riders.
Yes.
So what are the peculiarities of them, and what are the strong
Points.
and what are the weak points?
Okay. Well, I've judged several in various ages, and you have to know what a body of a person can do at 5-year-olds, at 10-year-olds, at 15-year-olds, at 50-year-olds. So you have to be educated. You have to get that as a judge. You can't say to a 5-year-old, keep your hands and heels still, because that's not how it works. You have just to find your seat, your balance first. So the kind of things I saw here were really good horses and ponies, but inexperienced riders who must take the next step to the next level to be one with their horse or pony. Now they're sitting up straight and they have learned to give aids, but the influence is not so much there yet, because you're 5 or you're 10 years old and your legs are like this and the horse is like that. So it's normal. But that's what we try to judge today, to encourage young riders to not only focus on their seat and how the horse is walking with his head, but to become one with the horse. So they work with a horse or a pony and they become friends. That's a strong bond. Man and horse has always been a strong bond. Think about the war. But this is a friendship. Girls and boys will get the best friends out of horses. So they have to learn to feel a horse, to know what's in the head of a horse. Why does he run away? And why will humans first run a little and then fight? Because we are different. We're different species. So the horse will flight. And when you keep it with you all the time, if you're restricted to walk like he knows, that's all he knows, just to walk and to run freely. But when we restrict it with a band or just hands like this, then we get a row. Then we break a horse mentally, but also physically. So that's what I try to teach children. A horse is a horse and you are you. So how can we get together and get a bond with each other? So we want to work together, not dominate or get controlled by the horse, but just work together. And that's the next step for these competitors. So I hope I help them on the right path today.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes.
Thank you. And I know that you have educational program
Yes.
in Netherlands. And according to your opinion, what should we do in Ukraine here just to rise a future champions?
Start at the beginning.
Okay, and
That's always the answer. Start at the beginning with good teachers, good instructors, good coaches, but also good judges. They're also important. So the education doesn't begin with the rider, it begins with the instructor, the coach, but also the judge. And then you have to get a good horse, a good learning experience. It doesn't have to be a Grand Prix horse. It's just the horse that is compatible with the child or the competitor at that time. So that's the second thing that's important. And you have to do a lot of work. It's not a trick. Good horse riding is not a trick. I can't teach anyone 2 or 3 or 4 tricks so they can go to the Olympics. I only can start at the beginning, give good lessons, educate them in what a horse is, and give them a good horse. And then from there on, they have to do the homework. If they are not there to do the homework, and that's a lot of time you have to put in a horse, then you don't get better than average. So if you want to be excellent, or you want to be better than the rest, you have to be more, you have to do more work than the rest. And that's the same in every sport, I think, but in every job also. And it's definitely true in our sport. So, do the effort, surround you with a good team, your parents, your trainer, go to good competitions like this, go to seminars, read books, then you'll be there.
Okay, thank you. Very, very good tips, really. And one more question about motivation of young riders.
Yes.
So if, for example, they are judged very strictly,
Yes.
and they got bad points, does it demotivate them or not?
Well, it depends on the comments we give. My way of judging is this. We had to give the last competitors 3 points for the position and the following of the movement of the horse. The second was the giving of the aids. Did they do that the right way? And the last one was which influence have they had on the horse. So I'll see the test and I'll get a picture. So you had a rider with a horse who needed a lot of work. So, but she had a plan. She was concentrated and she had a plan. She was ready to go. But the horse was tired or he didn't feel like it today. It's just like us humans. He had not a nice day. So he let the girl work for him. So that reflects on the influence she has on the horse, because the horse was controlling her and not the other way around, so as it's supposed to be. So that's a low point. But she used her aids. She was working very hard, so that's a high point. And then I can comment and then I can explain to those competitors. And that's what I try to do in the way of motivation. But a bad point, we judges judge what we see. So if I like you, you don't get better points. If I don't like you, you don't get worse points. So I judge you as I see you in the competition, not of who you are. But I can motivate my score with nice things and tips. I rarely say on a protocol, you did this wrong or you did that wrong. It was funny because a trainer just came up to me and said, what mistakes did she make? mistakes? I said, no, she didn't make mistakes. She's done excellent. Yes, but do you have tips for me? Okay, tips I have. But it's not about making mistakes. You have to make mistakes, otherwise you can't learn. You learn from mistakes. So now I remember I had to say to her, she's done very well. She's made many mistakes. She will learn from them.
Really?
So that's the case. Motivation is very important, especially for young people. But if you praise them to heaven, and there's so much wrong with them, they don't learn again. So it's in between.
Yeah.
It's always like finding the balance.
качестве кого вы сегодня присутствуете на соревнованиях?
В качестве? Ну, в общем-то, я профессиональный ветеринарный врач. И раньше был врачом сборной Украины по конному спорту. Ну, со временем заболел конным спортом сам, стал ездить немного. Ну, а сейчас я владелец лошадей и тренер.
Как вам сегодняшние соревнования?
Сегодняшние соревнования очень понравились. Это одно из самых лучших мест на Украине, где проводятся соревнования. Ну и, в общем-то, меня порадовали мои ученики, которые, в общем-то, на молодых лошадях вчера заняли первое, второе место. Сегодня несколько хуже. Но мы тянемся к Эквидусу, к ним очень тяжело дотянуться, потому что они очень профессиональны. У них хорошие лошади, у них хорошие тренеры. Но, тем не менее, мы пытаемся куда-то дорасти.
Удивлен масштабами, очень красиво, и надеюсь, будет прекрасное увлечение, и буду болеть за лучших.
Появились ли у вас за сегодня фавориты?
Нет, я впервые, еще раз повторюсь, и как бы не знаю, кто будет выступать. Пригласили друзья, которые, вот Ира, Рома, и я думаю, фаворита выберем уже по ходу соревнований.
В качестве кого ты сегодня присутствуешь на соревнованиях?
Должна была быть спортсменом, но зритель.
А ты занимаешься тоже конным спортом?
Да.
Со скольки лет?
С 8.
А как ты вот начала заниматься? Ты сама решила, это у тебя родители?
Сама.
Сама?
У меня мама ветеринар, у меня своя конюшня, 13 лошадей.
А сегодня вы будете участвовать?
Меня не допустили.
Еще рано. Есть у тебя любимый спортсмен, который сегодня выступает?
Да.
Да? А кто это?
Ершова.
Ершова? А почему она тебе нравится?
Не знаю, у нее хорошие лошади, она хорошо прыгает.
А какие у тебя ожидания от гран-при, которое сейчас пойдет?
Я даже не знаю. Это будет очень классно и зрелищно.
Очень хорошая лошадка. Не закрепощай ноги. У нее чешется нос. Подбери повод, Винанечка. Чуть-чуть. Молодец. И брысь.